You know guys, yesterday I tried to make a live stream having a quick first look at this new ATS Automobili GT special hand, but guess what, my Wi-Fi literally died, so seems like that was a signal to make a video about it. The good thing is that I got some extra time during which I discovered a few things that I definitely think you all guys should be aware of before even trying to lock this car. So with nothing else to add, let's get into it. I will be honest with you all guys, at first I thought that this special event would be grindy, but after asking a few players who did, way more races than I did on the very first day, I came to the conclusion that if Gameloft isn't planning to change the drops on the very first stages of this special hunt, this car could take well over 1000 races to lock and reach at least the third or second star. Just for the sake of comparison, the Aston Martin Victor, which was the highest stars car to be featured in a car hunt, took around 400 races to max starting from 0 blueprints, and that was grinding the hunt non-stop for around a week, plus spending several hundred tokens on ticket refills. Imagine if you have to do that but 3 times in the span of 12 days, considering you as a free-to-play player who has no time-limited events pass. If you have an active events pass during this special hunt, you will have access to more tickets and thus more races, but most expensive ticket refills every time you run out of them. If you want to go for this car, regardless if you have the Legends Pass or not, you will have to do a massive, never seen before amount of races. That's pretty much impossible for an average player, so I want to believe that the 40 races I had to do before getting one single blueprint from the first stage were just a result of an error or something like that, because otherwise those trying to lock this car without spending some cash in the special offers are doomed for real. The longest I could resist playing Asphalt 9 non-stop before getting tired of it was around 7 hours, and that was my personal best, so I can imagine myself grinding the same races for 14, 20 or 30 hours just to lock a car, which is straight up bad, because let's get real guys, this car is not good. Only the acceleration is somewhat decent, which is completely pointless when you look at all the other stats. This ATS Automobili GT is so hard to obtain for a reason, and I have a theory I have developed after mercilessly stealing thoughts from other players, because this car may or may not be required in an expensive hard special event at some point in the future, which I know is not too much information since pretty much all the special events these days have hard requirements, but the thing is that if the car is required at some special event in the future, it could be a reason or a justification of why it's so hard to obtain if you are trying to get it as a free-to-play player now. Honestly, I doubt that this car will end up as a Drive Syndicate requirement, for example, but maybe if something interesting appears during the next update or in the future, there could be a chance that this ATS Automobili GT ends up appearing by then, as a requirement, of course. I don't really think it's redundant to talk about this, but if you didn't realize yet, you need the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento as well as the Lamborghini SC20 in order to play these special hand stages, unless you have the ATS Automobili unlocked beforehand, as it was my case. I got 200 blueprints from offers, and then I got a few more from the guaranteed blueprints the special hand gives on every stage, so I'm like 30 blueprints away from the 6th star, and then I will only have to grind the last stage in order to get the epic import parts this car takes to be fully golden. This entire event looks quite grotesque to my eyes, because you have two options. You could spend a massive amount of time and effort trying to get this ATS Automobili GT, or you could just open the wallet, as it's been the case many times in this game already. The options are so clear that it's something surprising, and even though I have defended Gameloft's right to get money in order to, keep the game alive and that stuff, to be honest, this event is really hard to defend, and I don't think it's possible to do so because the event is just so hard, because there is rarely anything worthy to grab as a positive point from this event, aside from the huge amount of crates you will have once you are done grinding it. If you do so on time, of course, because you have at the end like 12 days or so. I'm sure that in the future there will be better events to waste your time, resources, and maybe, who knows, money on. So this special hunt just feels so wrong when we compare it to the Ultima RS special hunt, which, despite it was quite grindy, the outcome made it worthy, since the Ultima RS is a great car nowadays. They could have done something similar with the ATS Automobili GT, but instead we got a car that is honestly not that good, not even once it's golden, and that obliterates any potential attractions this special hunt could generate aside from the usual collectors like me, who will just go for the car in order to have all the cars in this game. I would recommend to you all guys to judge based it on your time availability between spending whatever time, races and sweat it takes to lock the ATS Automobili, or just skip it altogether and focus on other events this season offers instead, or as I like to call it, taking it easy in a nutshell. It's all on your hands, and as someone who doesn't even like to grind car hands, I don't really think I'm on a position to tell you guys which option should you pick, since I generally take it easy, but just because I pay my way in order to have content for the future, hence why I'm saying that it's your individual decision to pick between the two options I described before. In other scenario, I can assure you guys that I will never ever go for this car, but at the end of the day, I'm keeping my account stocked with a ton of cars basically for content, in order to get more cars and check the special events in the future and so on. So this nightmarishly hard to obtain ATS Automobili GT will be just another one for the collection, and that's it. In other topics, during yesterday short live stream, I also maxed out my W Motors Like a Neon edition, but since that footage is completely lost as a result of my Wi-Fi outage, from now on I will try to make a video every time I got a car instead of trying to do a live stream, since it seems like my connection is not powerful enough to maintain a live stream at decent settings. It is what it is, I guess. The car, however, surprised me. I mean, I'm talking about the Like a Neon edition now, not the ATS, which is really bad, as we could see already. Anyways, the Neon edition surprised me, and I will be making a video about it, doing some laps in multiplayer during this current classic season if I have, luck with the rivals, of course. In general, I'm going for these update cars basically because they look like the kind of cars that will be required in upcoming events, so it's better to not to miss anything just in case, so I can save up stuff in the future. Or maybe not, who knows, I could be completely wrong. It's impossible to know the future so far, unless you are Game Love. To be honest, I doubt that cars like the Alfa Romeo Giulia will appear so easily, but I ended up getting tier 2 during its Grand Prix, so if you offer me easy epic import parts, I will never say no. And the decal looks quite nice, but what surprised me the most was the fact that despite I did a quite bad qualification time intentionally in order to end at tier 3 or 4, I ended up in tier 2, which I assume is a signal from the game telling me to gold max the Giulia, who knows. But at this point, I think it's your turn, guys. What do you really think about this ATS Automobili GT special hand? Will you try to unlock it knowing what it takes, or will you just let it go? For real, I'm genuinely curious if someone will try to go for this car and how much time, tokens and races could it take to just unlock it during the first stage. However, I would like to know if any of you guys are planning to just skip it altogether in order to focus in the other events as well. So please let me know your plans in the comment section, make sure to drop your like and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more Asphalt 9 content. Goodbye guys!